Hey everybody, Jessica Morrison, Realtor with Ferris Property Group. We are back for another interview and again with Fischer Homes. This time we are with Amie and the Thorpe Creek community. Amie, how are you today?
I am doing great, Jessica. Thanks for asking. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to learn more about Fischer Homes and just help connect our audience with more inventory. So, where is Thorpe Creek located?
So, Thorpe Creek is our signature community that we have in Fishers. We've been established here for about 8 or so years, and we're still growing. We've got a few sections left to finish it off, but it's kind of on the east side of Fishers.
Okay. Now, how many sections are there total? Where are you at in that range? And then I guess, therefore, how many are left to be completed?
Yeah, of course. So this community actually started out as a custom community. Didn't do great. So Fisher Homes kind of came in and bought the remaining land, and we've kind of been able to develop it into multiple sites. There's actually three different sections of Thorpe Creek. So there's Thorpe Creek Overlook, the Knoll, and the Woods. Now, each of those sections kind of has their own types of homes that are built in there, kind of have their own feel, look, price range. Um, our Overlook section has completely sold out, so we've been done there. That's the section that is closest to 126th Street. And then we have the Knoll, where we just actually sold our last home site last week. We still have one phase coming in the Knoll, and then we have the Woods, which is our Grand Estate custom collection. So most of the original custom homes are over closer to the Woods section. So that area is going to be kind of more of our custom type builder comparison, if you will.
So it sounds like there's one phase left to be done in the Overlook. Did I catch that right? The second, I know it was the second one, and
In the
then
Knoll,
the
yes.
Knoll. Okay. And then how many um, lots or sections are left in the Woods? Well, I mean, I know there are three. Would you say that's three sections? I want to make sure that I understand this correctly.
Yeah, it's pretty confusing. It's a huge community. So it's three different sections of the community, and each has like different phases within that section. So
Right.
we are in our final phase of the Woods.
Okay.
We have about 12 or 14 sites left in that phase. So once we're done with that, we're kind of done with the custom collection of homes for Thorpe Creek. And then we would have our new section of the Knoll, which are similar homes. They're just going to be not as large, not as custom high-end type homes.
Yeah. Well, I think that's reasonable to, if you're going to spend less on a house, you would correlate that with maybe less design features or so forth. So, how many homes total in the Thorpe Creek community?
That is a great question. I'm not 100% sure. I want to say there's probably like 500 homes or so just in Thorpe Creek. It also connects to another community. So the whole area is very walkable and easy accessible from every street, basically.
Yes. So, having alluded to walkability, that's a great segue to what neighborhood amenities are available.
Yeah, so Thorpe Creek has so much included. There is a pool, a basketball court, which is really popular right now during March Madness, and we have a playground, and then like I said, sidewalks throughout the entire community, different pond features, and um, a lot of trees throughout the area too, which is really nice. And the HOA actually has trash included in it, which not a lot of communities do. So there's a lot included with this community.
Yes, and for those watching, when you're looking at new home construction, it's actually becoming fairly difficult. I don't know if I want to say rare, um, but it's more expensive now to build amenities into a community because the builder takes a hit that's not land that they could use, or they could use that land to build a home and then therefore make more money. So it's nice that there are so many amenities included. And then do you happen to know what that HOA fee is or will be?
Yeah, so it's going to be 900 a year, which is about 75 a month. You just pay that annually. And like I said, that does include trash. So for a community of this size, it's a great deal and includes a lot in there.
Excellent. So we talked about where this is located. We're in Fishers and we're moving quite along through that process. Do you have any spec houses or um, like what's the time process with, let's say someone's interested in building in this community, how many lots do we have available to choose from and what does the timeline from now to build look like?
Yeah, so great question. It's hard to find the sites. So the fact that we have sites is really exciting. So like I said, we have about 12 to 14 sites. So if you were to purchase one of those today, our build time is total 8 to 10 months. Now it kind of varies. We really can guarantee 4 to 6 months from the time that we build. So there's a lot that's kind of based on what the town of Fishers can help us out with. But definitely 4 to 6 months from the time that we start construction, it's always guaranteed to get your home done.
And what have you seen with COVID in terms of impacts, or how have your discussions changed now with consumers who are interested in building maybe versus 6 months or a year ago?
So we thankfully haven't been too affected by any delays with, the delays in like lumber supply and things like that. So our build time really hasn't changed much, which has been great. But because the entire market has just kind of exploded, we've seen so many more people coming in, so many more people purchasing, and that has really affected the city of Fishers and even some of our designers. We've had to hire more designers to kind of keep up with everything. So we're trying our best to like get things done as quickly as possible, but there's only so much that we can do. I would say the biggest change that I've had with people is like, I don't want to rush your decision, but the market is going to push you to make a decision quicker. Because my job isn't to, have you purchase a home as quickly as possible. I want to get you into the right home. However, a perfect home may not exist. The right home does exist, and building will definitely help with that.
I might have to, well, I'm recording this, but I love the way that you communicated that because that's a very similar method of operating for myself is um, I believe that even though we're technically salespeople, it's our job to just walk alongside and help educate and give advice where applicable in real estate. And ultimately the house will sell itself. So if it's the right home, you'll know it and you'll want to move accordingly. But how, you mentioned that the market is going to push you. How are you seeing people come through in terms of, when they come to you, Amie, are they ready to put a deposit down when they come in the model now more so, or are you still seeing a fair amount of people who want to research and evaluate different communities, or what does that look like?
So I've seen a little bit of both. I will say I've seen a lot more people kind of ready that are like, if we find the right home, we're going to make a decision because they've seen how fast homes have been selling. I've also had people who have come after putting 7 different offers in and they're like, we're just exhausted. Like if you can just build a house that we like, we're going to do it. We're just ready. So I've seen kind of the widest spectrum. We do have quite a few people still who are like, I do want to do my due diligence and research, and I fully support that. I mean, I don't like making a decision either after seeing one builder or seeing one house. So I fully support that. But at the same time, I can't guarantee anything. If you come back to me and want it and it's gone, it's just gone. And that's how the market is. And so I always try to just remind them of that. Like, I fully support that decision of looking around, but I can't guarantee anything after this moment. So.
Yeah. How many not sections, how many lots are you seeing that sell on a weekly basis now? Because I feel like it used to be so many home sites would sell per month. And now I feel like that's kind of shifted more on a weekly basis. Is that true?
So in general, I mean, we were just going through months where we were just breaking records on how many homes we were selling in that month. And it was just constant. I would say from like June of last year, up until now where we actually just don't really have anything to sell. We were just hitting our records and breaking them every single month. So I don't even know how many we were selling. I mean, right now we're pretty much out of sites and we're still seeing a few a week, which is crazy. I mean, we have less than 50 in the whole Indianapolis area. So people are still out there. People are still coming in. Even with the few that we have, they are still going pretty quick. I would say this time it feels like it slowed down, but it's still, I mean, people are still coming in. So it's just a little bit harder when you don't have all of the sites that you used to.
No, for sure. I think that it's always fascinating to learn on the back end how things are moving for you guys. But I think it's very true. And for those who have been a buyer now and they're trying to compete in this market, the lower or more expensive or inexpensive the home, the more activity you're going to see, just because more people are able to afford 150 than 600 naturally. And so it's been very, very tough, especially for first-time home buyers, which is honestly why I started this series back in August of last year, just because people, like, we knew that inventory was going to be a challenge, and new home construction, generally speaking, is a great solution for that. Yes, you do pay a little bit more dollar per square foot, but you are getting a brand new home rather than competing in a multiple offer situation. Some people are doing as is deals, and if you're a first time home buyer, that can be a little scary, especially if that home does have quite a bit of cosmetic work that maybe you were wanting to do. So it's nice because again, with a new home, everything's brand new, but there's also warranties in place. So Amie, what does Fischer Homes warranty structure look like?
Yeah, so we offer a 1 year full home warranty. So that's going to cover kind of your basic things that you see in the home all the time, like those nail pops. They're all minor stuff that kind of just occur with the house settling. Even some doorknobs that come loose. I mean, it's really minor stuff that you get in the first year, but we fix anything within that first year. And then we also have a 10-year structural warranty. And then also we have different manufacturers that have their own warranties. So for instance, we use Delta faucets and they kind of have their own warranty as well that our homeowners can sign up with. So same with HVAC systems. I mean, there's so many different ones to get into.
Yeah, that's good to know. That not only you have the builder warranty, but you have the manufacturer warranties as well in place. Now, to be clear, you as a consumer, if you were buying a Fischer Homes home, you would need to sign up for those manufacturer warranties separately or do that on your own time. Is that correct?
Correct. There's like a time frame between closing and when you're supposed to do that. I want to say it's like 60 days or something. Now, with the Fisher Homes warranty, even if you sell your home within 5 years, I mean, that 10-year structural warranty stays with the home. It's not with the buyer. So same with that 1 year warranty. Those kind of stick with the home. And then I'm not 100% sure about the manufacturer warranties, but the homeowner would have to go and do that within like 60 days or so.
And when you say structural, does that also include the roof or no?
So it doesn't include the roof, it includes the trusses. I think that's how you say it in there, but not like the shingles or anything. They have their own warranty as well.
Okay, good to know, because if you buy a brand new home and then you get an Indiana windstorm or hail or any of the above because it's Indiana, if you're probably going to file a homeowner's insurance claim, it's probably going to be roof or siding for most people. So that being the case, is there anything that people should know, generally speaking, about roofs with Fischer Homes, of what's included or not included?
I don't know about roofs, but I do want to mention because you brought up like the siding. And in Thorpe Creek in particular, most of our homes have the hardy board plank instead of like your standard vinyl siding. So those are a little bit more sturdy and you don't have to worry about those as much in the storms. So that's one thing that this community requires. There's also a requirement for a full brick wrap on the whole first floor of the home in this community. So you are guaranteed that every home is going to look good and you have that brick surrounding on the whole first level.
That's great, especially I think when we're looking at higher price points, there's therefore is a natural expectation of better exteriors. So it's nice to hear that at a minimum, the brick is on all four sides. Um, how far up the home is that? Just um, I have two different pictures of what that looks like in my head. Do you have any photo examples of maybe homes in the community with exteriors?
Let me share my screen. I do have one. It shows the front, so it may not be able to um, see the sides of the home. So can you see my screen okay? I can zoom in as well.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so this is our model home actually. It's the Wheatland model, so it's one that is in our Grand Estates collection. So this one actually has both stone and brick on the exterior. So um, the brick height would go to like that first roof line around the whole home. So there's some shake siding up here. You can kind of see the blue siding. It's like bluish gray actually in the right corner. Now that would be on the second floor on the sides, is that color siding. But brick would be all the way around that first level.
Okay, that makes sense.
And same with the stone as well. So the stone would go around.
Excellent. So, um, the homes that we have here, let's just go ahead and talk about the PDF since you have it pulled up.
Yeah, of course. So, like I mentioned, these are the two that we are currently selling in, the Knoll and the Woods. So the Knoll is going to be our masterpiece collection of homes. Now these homes typically range when completed between 550 and 800,000. We have like 12 or 13 different floor plans in this section of the community. Like I said, we just sold the last one last week, but we will have new home sites coming fall or winter of this year. So now this is going to be like a long street here that connects to our current homes, and then a nice long cul-de-sac area here. I did mention before we had some like ponds and lakes and trees, so you can kind of see that in this picture. But this will be our final phase of the Knoll here coming this year. And then in the Woods, this is our last phase that we have here. Now these homes are starting around 700, going up to at least 1 million. I think it's going to keep growing as we keep selling homes, but you can see, I think these are all the homes. Yep, these are all the home sites that we still have left. So there are quite a few left in this one. We did just open this one up recently, but it is the final opportunity to have our custom estate collection of homes. So, and then I went through amenities. I think I forgot that we do have the clubhouse and a little picnic area in this community. So the clubhouse is obviously by the pool. All of the amenities are right kind of when you first come in between all three of the different sections. The schools, what's really awesome about this community is there is an elementary school right across the street. We're very close to the junior high school and the high school as well. So all is like within 5 minutes or less.
That's awesome. And I like how you broke down the HOA too, how it's 800, but an additional 100 for the trash. And so it's 900 total. But
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and there's more information too on our website. So if you go to fischerhomes.com, you can search our Indianapolis area and see all of our different communities. There are two separate websites for the Knoll at Thorpe Creek and the Woods at Thorpe Creek, since they do have different homes. So you can definitely check those out as well.
Okay, great. So let's talk a bit about, was there anything else that you wanted to cover as far as amenities or floor plans for the different sections of Thorpe Creek?
I mean, it's a little bit hard without knowing kind of what people are interested in. We have so many different options, which is really nice. I think we've got like 2 ranch plans, master on the main, 5-level splits. We have 2-story family rooms. We've got lofts. I mean, you name it, we probably have it. And the best part about this community is if it's something that we don't offer, we can send a custom quote to our architects and they'll kind of come back and see what they can do with a professional drawing. So although Fischer Homes is a production builder, we're kind of that in between of production and custom, which is really nice. So you're not paying the custom price that you usually get with those custom homes, but you can still customize our floor plans a little bit.
No, I love that because I think more than ever, families are having to um, experience, and this was the case pre-COVID, where um, they've been lovingly named the sandwich generation, where they have a college kid who's had to move back in with them and maybe an elderly grandparent. Instead of putting them in assisted living, they've had to take care of them. So they're having to take care of two generations with housing. And so a number of families were having to upsize because of that. And now with working from home, like some people like might not only need one office, but maybe two, because both companies or employers are having people work from home. And then if gratefully kids are going back to school now, but e-learning situations. So have you had many conversations? I feel like having two generations live with you is kind of rare, but have you had many conversations where more people are requiring a second home office space or additional work areas?
All the time. I mean, since within the last year, I think every single person has come in and said they need at least one office. I've had some people say they need two offices. I have seen a lot of people too who are purchasing new homes and are, asking for, their kids are in college, but they're not sure what they're doing after. So they want to make sure they have that space for their kids in college, or their parents are getting older, so they need that space for them. So I've kind of experienced all of it. And I've had people downsizing, upsizing, right sizing is what we like to say, because every situation is different. And you may be downsizing from what you currently have, but it's actually a much better option for what you are looking for in your lifestyle.
That's a very diplomatic answer. I think that'll work. So let's transition to why Fischer Homes, especially when we're looking at Fischer's as an area. There's certainly a number of opportunities to build with new construction. So what would you say Fischer Homes does well, and why would someone want to build with Fischer Homes compared to a different builder?
Yeah, so I mentioned it a little bit before, but I think Fischer Homes just kind of has a different quality and a different standard. We are still a production builder. However, we do offer those customization options. And I've had quite a few people come in who say, our homes just look different. And there's a reason for that. I think our architects, they want to make sure that not just the community looks good, but every house looks a little bit different and has that kind of estate look to it, especially in the Thorpe Creek community. So I would say Thorpe Creek as a whole, the only competition I say we have currently is that custom. We are not full custom, so we're never going to be full custom, but we offer kind of that same look, that same feel, get you what you want without that custom price.
So with it being a more of a semi-custom experience, some builders, if you want to make changes to certain selections like hardwood versus carpet or tile, like, do you offer credits for things that buyers don't use or delete?
Yes and no. Every situation is different. So I have seen it happen, yes. For the most part, especially in this market, I haven't seen much credit. I usually see more people trying to add things to the home, not so much take things out of the home. Our masterpiece collection have definitely not seen anyone take anything out of it. So people are usually adding for that. The custom collection has so much already included in that. The only thing I see people trying to remove is the hardwood floors. A lot of people like the luxury vinyl plank. So that would be the only thing that I've seen people try to like remove from our homes. Usually people are trying to like add to it and just stay under like a custom builder price, which is like crazy in the Fishers area. So we do offer it, but it's not guaranteed. It's kind of situational depending on what they're looking for.
Yeah, I'm definitely the minority in the current trend. Like LVP as a product is fantastic, especially if you have pets or kids and don't want to have to worry about like spills and waterproofing. Like it's a fantastic product. It's extremely durable. But having done open houses and had to take shoes off or, have socks or something like that, And personally, having hardwood floors in my house, I actually prefer the feeling of hardwood over LVP. So I'm curious down the road in like 5 to 10 years, as people have lived in that, what the consensus will still be. But it's definitely a great product, especially from a cost perspective with the durability. And like if something were to happen, it's pretty easy to change out. So that's interesting that you're seeing that all the way up into the custom prices.
Yeah, so I mean, we don't have too many of them. Like you said, a lot of people still like the hardwood. I just know a lot of people have pets. Dogs in particular can scratch up hardwoods. So anyone that comes in with a pet is definitely like wanting that instead of the hardwood. But I've still had quite a few people upgrade to the hardwood, both in the Masterpiece and in our Grand Estate Custom Collection. So.
That makes a ton of sense. So this is kind of a on the spot question, but what made you select Fischer Homes as a builder to work for? Because I think that sometimes sharing your story helps people see more of the behind the scenes and gain some respect there as well.
So I was not completely aware of the whole like builder real estate world. I came from leasing. So I kind of had no idea what I was getting myself into until I actually joined. But after kind of being in this position for over a year, I've kind of gotten to know other builders. I have friends at other builders now that I used to work with. And so um, I think now I'm so thankful that I chose Fisher Homes, especially when we were experiencing like last March when no one knew what was going on. Everyone was worried like about let goes and everything. And Fisher Homes has always been kind of conservative company, so they didn't go out and purchase all the land or anything like that. But they're also taking into effect how well we've been selling and being able to go and purchase that land that we need. So although they've been very conservative, they're also kind of going out and getting things done without being that big box builder company. It's definitely family owned, and it's been great to work for. So I don't know if I would work for any other builder after this. I don't know where I'd go, but I'm very thankful to be in this company, and it makes it so much easier to sell when you just agree with the product. And I don't live in a Fisher home, but I really, really want to, and hopefully one day I can. So.
Well, that's a good sign. I mean, to have a sales rep who wants to live in the houses that you're building, I think is always a good sign. So let's talk a bit about some changes or things that people can anticipate coming into the spring market with building and buying. What are some tips that you would share for those who are considering building?
Yeah, so I don't know the spring how much is going to change. I think the weather with the winter and like all of the rain is going to be hard for not just Fisher Homes, but every builder trying to develop their land. I think there's going to be a very big boom in construction coming this summer. Summer, fall, that's when I see it for all builders. So I would just tell people like have patience. Especially when building, it's going to be stressful, it's going to be a lot of work, but I think when building, the end result, I mean, it's the home that you created yourself, so it's going to be well worth it, especially compared to an existing home that you don't love 100% and you still have to put in that work afterwards. So patience is key for that. The other thing to keep in mind too is just I mean, there are so many options, it can get overwhelming. It's just kind of go back to like the starting point, like why do you need a new home, like what are your main reasons for looking at a new home, and focus on those. And once you get those, kind of then you can get in your like wish list items. So always focus on the main reason that you're moving and your must-haves first, and then get into those wish lists, and that will make the process so much easier and less stressful for you.
How like relevant or necessary do you think it is for people to be transparent in sharing their budget? Because as a realtor, you never want to like say, oh, I'm pre-approved up to this much, but do you think that sharing that in building is helpful for you as a sales rep to keep the budget in context with what they want and not going overboard?
I think definitely. However, it is also going to depend on the salesperson that you are working with. From my personal experience, I think yes, that's very important because if someone comes and tells me their budget is 500,000, I don't want to show them a house that starts at 500. I'm going to show them something lower and show them realistically this home after upgrades is going to be at 500. So that way I'm not starting them off and setting expectations the wrong way and getting them excited about the home and then say, sorry, you can't upgrade anything. So I definitely want to know exactly what is your max. I don't want to go over your max. However, I want to start at a much lower starting price. That way I can allow you to get those upgrades and all those kind of wish list items that you want within the home. So very important.
Yeah, and I think that's ultimately a consumer and realtor decision as well. Generally speaking, it's not best practice to reveal how much you're pre-approved for because then, in theory, you're giving away any type of negotiating ability. But that's also a good question for you because the reason I allude to that is sometimes you can price out a home and then try to negotiate the price down. Have you seen anyone be successful in this market with negotiating on price?
In this market, not really, no. There's not much flexibility that we have. I know in the past, and we've had people come in who've either previously built with us or they've had friends and they're like, oh, well, my friend came in and they got a free finished basement, or they came in and got this and this. And I'm like, yeah, that was before, this market where we don't have anything. We are not going to be giving away homes because people are almost like at our door begging for us to open more sites. So in this market, there's not much for negotiation. I mean, if things blow up and all of the builders all of a sudden have a bunch of land, we'll probably get back to that. I just don't see that happening anytime soon. But yeah, so I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing to say your budget because right now we really can't do much with it. So.
No, I think it's great. It's always good to have different perspectives. And as long as you as the consumer understand both sides of it, then you can make a better decision accordingly. But I love the candor too, because um, the context of the market is critical for negotiating and knowing how to act accordingly. So, why would someone want to work with a realtor when building? Because I have had some people ask me at times, and I think a lot of it is just because they're early to the process and they're not familiar with how it works. But it's still a great question. Um, why should someone work with a realtor? And if they choose not to work with a realtor, are they able to save money?
Great question. I get that one all the time. So I would say here at Fischer Homes, we only have about 60% maybe of our customers that actually have realtors. Um, Now, most of the time I've seen realtors kind of come in and they're the main ones driving, like, yes, building is a great option. They're very experienced with it. So, especially if you're new and not sure with building, definitely get a realtor who kind of knows all of the builders. They can kind of show you around. So, that would be one thing. The other thing is, I've had a lot of realtors help with kind of adding features that the buyers may not really want, but it's like, hey, this is a great resale value. You're going to want to do this for later on. And that's one thing that I don't have any experience with as a new homes person. I know everything about new homes, but I cannot help you sell your current home. So that's one of the biggest things that I would say you definitely need to have a realtor for that situation, because if you build your house perfectly for how you want it, it may not work for someone else. And you want to make sure you're kind of doing a little bit of a balance there. And then to your other question, people ask all the time, if I don't have a realtor, am I going to save money? No. So how it works is we actually don't give any special incentive if you don't have a realtor. It's either you have one or you don't. If you do have one, the great news is you don't have to pay anything to have a realtor. So Fischer Homes is actually the one that pays the realtors. So it's more of just a benefit for you if you do have a realtor. It's not ever going to be a bad thing, ever.
Again, I love it. It's um, that was communicated very well. And I've heard it explained another way that when builders are calculating their cost for pricing out a home, they will include an agent's compensation into the base price of the home. Like technically it's in a different financial bucket, but That base price is something that the builder will never negotiate below. So in a way, if you build or have a friend who builds without using an agent, you are technically paying for services you're not using. So it's kind of another way to look at that. But yes, I love the point about how we help you as a consumer be able to see the bigger picture. I've actually run into situations where you can have really famous builders or really famous communities, but not every floor plan that's available in that community is always going to be the most resale friendly. Um, Sometimes, for example, you could have a more dated floor plan that doesn't have any walk-in closets in the bedrooms. But if you were to select a different home that does have walk-in closets, if both of those homes came up on the market, that other home might be more attractive, or you might be able to get more of a premium for that down the road as trends shift accordingly. So just like little things to think about. Um, was there anything else that you wanted to share as suggestions or things that you wish more people knew about?
Um, I mean, I think doing your research on the market first has just been the one thing that I've seen recently. People are coming in and they're very surprised when I tell them, like, standard build time, even in a good market, is still 6 months. And so when I'm telling people, well, now we're kind of seeing delays at 8 months, and they're very surprised. And they're like, oh, well, I thought I could get into a new build in like 3 months. So I think having a realtor is definitely important to kind of help you with that time frame estimate and kind of know a little bit about just what the market is doing in general. And that helps both in resale and I think in new construction. But that's just one thing that I've seen a lot of people just are not aware of at all, that I think would be very, very beneficial to them when looking for a new home.
Yeah, and I think that's a good follow-up question for setting expectations because, planning your life 8 months out from now, like most people don't think that far ahead. So if they're thinking, okay, like springtime, I want to move, or maybe they want to get into a different school district, or it's just more convenient for whatever reason, I can see why that 3 month period would be kind of a set expectation, unless they're thinking that a pre-built spec home might be available. But what is Fischer Homes policy if someone has a home to sell in order to build?
So we actually have just switched as of March 15th. We are no longer accepting contingencies. So just because of how the market is right now, we don't have a lot to sell. In order to purchase a Fisher home, you have to either afford both homes or have already sold your home and are ready to move into this, or do a bridge loan as another option. So typically in a normal market, like I said, we just started doing this 4 days ago. So typically we do accept contingencies. But it really is with the time frame and how the housing market is right now. It's almost more beneficial for people to do a double move, as irritating as that is. They're going to get a lot more out of their home right now than if they wait 8 months. I don't know what the market's going to be, but right now it's great to sell your house. So it's almost better, I think, to sell your house when you know you're going to get the best out of it, and also kind of prepare for that 8 month time frame, and um, have that kind of ready and plan for that as you go.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's coming into summertime, guys. So, I mean, if you're both working from home or one person can work remotely, um, maybe it's that time to take that RV trip around the country. I mean, yeah, double moves are not fun, and there is an opportunity on some level to negotiate a lease back with a buyer on your current home. Some financing situations are not going to allow that after a certain period of time. So definitely talk with a realtor and a mortgage lender about that for planning purposes. But Amie, this has been incredibly informative. What is the best way for people to get in contact with you?
So you can call, text, or email me. My email is just acipolla@fisherhomes.com. And then I can send you my phone number and email information as well. But we also have an awesome online team. So even if you're on our website and you just kind of enter your information in, they can actually direct you to the sales specialist for the area or community that you're most interested in. So we have an awesome team for that as well.
Yep. And if you'd like to work with me or have any questions about maybe possibly building with Fischer Homes, but you don't want to quite start that conversation yet, I'm happy to play the middleman. And if you do watch this video and decide you'd like to talk more about Thorpe Creek with Amie, please mention this video so that we know if our time was worthwhile today, so that we can track that accordingly. But Amie, thank you so much for your time. Everybody, the contact information will be either in the description of this video or in the post. And again, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Jessica. It's been great.
Thanks.